everyone has an opinion and nobody has a consequence for what they say online. And it was funny, someone I met that said a bunch of negative stuff and said like my 59 wasn't real and said that my tying the course record at Chambers Bay wasn't real. I met him in person. I had surgery, and that was kind of like the NFL team saying like, hey, we're gonna, we're gonna go elsewhere. We're gonna go find someone else. And
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Scratch Golf Show. If you're new here to the channel, welcome. My name is Marco. I'm your host. We are typically interviewing the top creators in the YouTube golf space here on the Scratch Golf Show. And today we have another awesome YouTube golf creator. Someone who's dealt with a ton of hate over his career, someone who had his dream dangled in front of him, someone who just medaled at US Open local qualifying, Mr. Evan Thompson. Now, Evan and I dive into all those topics, how he's dealt with a ton of hate and adversity, his 59, his course record at Chambers Bay from 5 years ago, and a ton of other great topics. You're going to want to stick around to the end. Speaking of, hit that like button and comment your favorite part once that happens. You could also do me one last favor, hit that subscribe button. I'm trying to hit 2,500 subscribers before Memorial Day. Now let's get an interview with Evan. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We have another awesome guest lined up for you today on the Scratch Golf Show. We have dual sport athlete, YouTube golfer, football player, former college football player, We have Evan Thompson. Evan, welcome to the Scratch Golf Show, man. Appreciate you jumping on today. Excited to have a conversation.
of course, appreciate you having me. I've been watching your show for a long time, so appreciate your time this morning.
Dude, I love that. That makes me like when I started doing content about a year ago, and I'm sure you get this. Like I started doing this Masters last year, so just a little bit over a year. Like hearing stuff like that, like big time content creators who see my stuff, like that makes me like super jazzed. It's just super cool, man. Like I'm sure I know we were just talking like when you collab with the Brian Bros or Grant, like I'm sure like if you're a fan of their content, like it's just cool, like seeing people who like your stuff. Like it's just very cool as a content creator. So thank you. I appreciate the words. Thank you very much.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that's what we all do it for, is try to reach the right audience, and
Right.
your stuff definitely is. No, you're doing a great job.
Appreciate it, man. Anyway, we're not here to talk about me today. We're here to talk about you. So to start, man, I guess just tell me your story, who you are. I know I'm very familiar with you, but tell me who you are, how you got into golf content world, and then we'll just see where the conversation takes us from there.
Yeah. It's a pretty open-ended question, but I basically just born and raised in Orlando, Florida. So pretty much, obviously, golf's pretty big down there, but I didn't really touch a club till I was 15 years old. Football has been my whole life since I was a little kid. So I didn't really know any different besides football. So when I picked up golf, I just got really good really fast somehow. I don't know. God gave me a natural ability for it, and just kind of took it and ran with it. And then in college, I played football and golf, and was the only one to do so in Division One. And during those years, and one of my roommates was like, "Hey, you should make a video about what it's like being the only Division One football and golf athlete in America." And I was like, "No, I wasn't really big on social media. Like, I don't like all the attention and all that stuff." And um, he told me to make one. It got like 2 million views on TikTok, and I was like, "Okay, so I guess it is a pretty cool combo," and people wanted to, follow along the journey. And honestly, Marco, that's kind of how it started. I just documented that, and then just kind of kept on making cool little behind the scenes and routine videos and all that stuff. So that's kind of how we got into the golf like content creation space.
Crazy, man. I feel like a lot of people like for me, I didn't want to do an interview podcast. Like when I started doing this, I was doing like trick or like tips because I'm a scratch. Like I played to a +1, so I'm decent. But
Hmm.
like I was just doing like tips. I just wanted to make content. Like everyone was doing it. Now, it's just kind of like I just started interviewing people and now here we are. It's just you never kind of know how you're gonna get into the content world. But no, that's really cool, man. And that's a really cool like thing that you were the only D1 dual sport athlete. I'm curious because as someone who I think I played hockey growing up. I'm not like a great hockey player. I played high school and a little bit, but like I've always been decent at golf. Did you find it pretty easy to pick up golf? Because I feel like as someone who like maybe played hockey or is like pretty athletic like yourself, I feel like it's much easier to get, like you said, get really good versus people who maybe aren't playing other sports. Did you? I mean, obviously you experienced that, but did you like? Was it very quickly you picked it up, or you're just like, I'm going to be really, really good at this?
No, I feel like my athletic ability really helped to like get into golf at a high level. I feel as though that's why you see a lot of NFL, MLB, NBA players when they're on the off season, all they want to do is golf is because they're just it's a competitive, it's an athletic knack that we have to, try to perfect this sport, and we really can't. So I think if you're an athlete, it really helps because you can learn the movements, you can really feel what the club's supposed to do, and that's ultimately how I got into the game.
And the competitive aspect too, right? I
Yes.
mean, it's like, dude, I love competition. Like,
Yeah.
I'm when I'm on the golf course, I'm there. Whether it's a $10 money match or whatever, I'm there to
Yeah.
win. You know, and
Yeah.
I'm sure you understand that. Cool, man. Well, let's transition to my next question. Talk to me about the college days. How did you handle being a dual sport athlete? You know, for most people who don't know, football is a grind, man. Like, I'm a huge Lions fan, like we are just talking about. I'm not. I never played football. I'm not that tough. But like, dude, football is a grind, especially at the collegiate level. Like, it's a year-round grind. How did you handle that, and like I said, just being a dual sport athlete in the college days?
Yeah. So pretty much like all my scholarship for college was with football. So like that was the priority. So like golf was kind of on the back burner a little bit. In the fall, I would just do football, and like every other Sunday, if I wasn't sore enough, like tackling Jameer Gibbs, I was pretty dang sore after that game. No, I would try to go like hit some range balls like every Sunday. And then when I would get into the spring semester, that's when I would play both. So essentially, like I would have football practice, class, workouts, then golf. And then we'll do it all over again. So it was a pretty crazy couple years, I would say, of college. The first college I went to, I was an engineer. And then at Kennesaw State, I did my master's. So it was like school was still like a very important thing, especially for me. I take academia pretty serious. So that was just kind of my life. I didn't really know anything else. So it was an absolute grind. That's for sure.
For sure, man. Definitely sparks the competitive, like grinding you to constantly do that. I think, and I'm pretty sure I saw this short form video, but football was your original love. I think you're pretty open about that. Did you? I think you were pretty close to getting to the NFL, and then I think you got injured. Feel free
Yeah.
to correct me if I'm wrong there, but I guess talk me through that experience and how it was kind of getting away from the game you love. I mean, for me, like if I ever couldn't golf, I would go insane. Like it's my favorite thing to do in the world. I'm sure football, like you said, I've been golfing since I was 6. So like it's not the same because I didn't play, collegiately, but it's just my original love. Like I love it. How did
Mhm.
you deal with that? And I guess how did you overcome getting over your original love of football?
Yeah, man. It was pretty rough, honestly. I was I got looked at by the Jets and the Eagles. Came down to practice, and basically they just loved my knack of finding the football and beating the offense to the play. Um, but last regular season game of my senior year, I tore my right bicep and right labrum. I like blitzed. We were playing Monmouth in the conference championship. I blitzed and I locked out the lineman. And right when I locked him out, I tried to spin and get the quarterback, and my arm got caught on his shoulder pad and just ripped right off the bone. So I had surgery, and that was kind of like the NFL team saying, like, "Hey, you know, we're gonna go elsewhere. We're gonna go find someone else." And for me, that's kind of when golf opened the door for golf opened up, and that was when God was like, "Hey, I got bigger and better plans for you." Blah blah. So like for me, I just take everything as it happens for a reason. So I was just able to impact the world better in the game of golf, and now here we are. So I kind of just like kind of one thing led after another. So it was brutal, but then we kind of found the light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, for sure, man. I definitely feel like, you get tested at your toughest times, right? Like I'm
Yeah,
not super religious. I'll be pretty upfront about that. But I know you are, and I'm sure, like you said, God put you there and everything. I'm a firm believer in everything happens for a reason. Like I've
100%.
seen,
Yeah,
especially stuff with my channel, like whether it's just stuff falls through for better things. Like I know we just talked about what, some stuff I've got going on. Like everything happens for a reason. I'm a
yeah,
firm believer in that. Let's talk about golf content, man. Like I said, over the last year, I know your Instagram has really taken off. I think you were pretty open about posting like every day last year, but I want to talk a little bit more about YouTube first. Your YouTube has also really taken off. You've done some really cool collabs. Brian Bros, Brad Dalkey, Sean Walsh, Grant. What is that the last like year or so been like as you've grown your social medias, Instagram, YouTube, And how cool has it been collabing with some of the biggest people in the space as you've really taken off on the internet?
Yeah. Man, it's been awesome. It's been really, really cool to kind of find my niche of the competitive and the athlete side of golf. For me, like I've never really been just somebody that plays one thing. So for me to play with all these different athletes, but also compete in the game with qualifiers, tournaments, and collaborate with like some of the best. I typically don't really play with people that are, I guess, like high handicap. I would play with people that are similar level, like Brad, like Grant, like Wesley and George. Those are kind of like my avenues. But man, it's been really cool. Everyone's kind of on the same grind together, and everyone does it slightly differently. And it's really cool to see how everyone kind of stacks up in this game. And God bless, there's so many people with great golf games. Like I remember the first time I saw Brad play and he outdrove me by like 40 yards on the first hole. I was like, okay, well, these guys are the freaking real deal. That's for sure. But yeah, it's been really, really cool, man.
How have you taken the approach of like growing your channel and social medias over the
Mm.
last year? Like, what has your strategy been, and how do you elevate your content as the ever growing world of YouTube golf is being elevated by Grant, Wesley? You see all these guys putting out these crazy videos. How are you elevating your content, and how have you done so over the past year to grow at the rate you're growing at?
I would say I kind of take things, for me, I've always been creative by nature when I was younger. So for me, I kind of take what works and I double down on it. So, like, for example, if a video on YouTube, like, I'm gonna be honest, transparently, my videos haven't been doing that well on YouTube right now. So, okay, look at those analytics, what's not working, why are people not watching, and kind of transfer it to, okay, they want to see really high level golf, they want to see some matches. So, I think for me, growing is all about like making the correct adjustments. So, if your video is not doing well, okay, make those adjustments and then implement it into the next one and then see what happens. And then for Instagram and TikTok, that's what I did on short form and it kind of worked.
Yeah.
So now I average like quite a bit of views on Instagram and TikTok per month, but YouTube we're still trying to get a hold. This is legit my first like full time year doing YouTube. So like last couple years I like kind of dabbled in it. So I'm really excited to keep growing the YouTube.
Yeah, man. I know it's a grind, dude. I
It is.
I get it. I love it. I love the grind, but dude, YouTube is a whole different world, man. I
Yeah.
know Instagram and TikTok. I'm not. It's funny because like I don't post a ton on either of those socials. I've been primarily focused on YouTube. My Instagram isn't a ton of followers. So I got a lot of cool people who follow me, but it's just like, dude, I think consistency is most important. But like you said, really kind of taking that step back and realizing like, hey, like this isn't working, and being able to just be like, okay, like and use it as constructive criticism almost to try and improve your process without realizing like hey, it wasn't that bad of a video, just needed some minor adjustments. And I feel like it's not just you. I feel like everyone as a whole. If you're not like Grant or like the Brian Bros right now, I feel like YouTube views are just down as a whole. Like I've noticed a few of the creators, even I watch, like my views have been down the last month. I know some of the other guys, and it's just I don't know what's going on. Maybe it's just a lull in the season. But you make great content. That's besides the point. I want to talk a little bit about some of the pros that you face. You've had a couple major champions on your channel, which is super cool. One of my personal favorite players, Cam Smith, and Louis Oosthuizen, one of the sweetest swings on golf like ever. I love Louis' swing. How cool was it filming with those guys? Especially Cam Smith. Cam Smith's a dog, dude. He just seems like an ultimate like bro. So how cool is it filming with those guys? And walk me through, I guess, kind of some of that content. How cool that was as a golfer.
Yeah, I think I can slowly start to see the wheels turning with like being recognized in the space, being able to have these opportunities to play with all of these, PGA live amazing golfers is incredible. Like I can't believe it still. So like when I teed it up with Cam, I think my hands were like this. I was like so nervous. I was like, just please hit it straight, and I hit the straightest ball of all time. And I was just, man, I've looked up to Cam, especially his short game and putting. Like I literally watch it so much, and I still can't replicate it. But like Cam, that was probably one of my favorite videos I've ever made. Just his vibe and the Australian culture is amazing. So, and then obviously Louis being from South Africa and another major champion was pretty remarkable too. And we got some really, really cool guests coming on that are, another major champions coming on. So I cannot wait for those. And going to be a really, really exciting next couple months.
Heck yeah, man. Looking forward to some cool collabs. Like I said, Cam Smith's one of my personal favorite players that up and down he made to win on 17 at the road hole. Still one of the sickest up and downs I've ever seen, man. And I wish I could copy paste Louis' swing. Like Louis is just like, dude, he just makes it look so effortless. It's
Mhm.
just it's crazy, man. Do you watch a lot of golf? I always ask this question, but do you watch a lot of, I don't want to say pro golf because I assume you watch a decent amount of that, but YouTube golf. Do you watch a lot of other creators? Do you study a lot? I feel like a lot of people who do content, and I've asked this, don't really do because they want to get away from it, which makes sense because it is your full time job. Do you watch a lot of YouTube golf? And I guess how often are you studying those other creators?
Yeah. I would say I'm more of a creator rather than a consumer. But because the YouTube space is a space that I want to kind of grow in, I've been watching a lot of like the best of the best. We get inspiration from a lot of different people, but like when I first started doing YouTube, I watched Bryson's channel and the way they do it there is amazing. He has a production crew that does all his content, and like I try to study him. But I watch like I would say the bigger end of videos. Like if someone has a really cool collaboration or if something big happens, I'll watch it. But like I'm so busy throughout the day that like if I'm catching a flight and I can sit down and watch a YouTube video, I'll do it. Or if I'm with the wife and have some time, I'll do it. But yeah, I typically try to just always be creating rather than consuming.
For sure, dude. Congratulations. First of all, before we get any further, guys, we'll link all Evan's socials and stuff in the description. Make sure you drop him a sub, follow him on Instagram, TikTok, all the good stuff. I try to don't get too far into the episode before I do that. But congratulations on the wedding, man. I know you just got married. It was a few months ago. I think you were in Mexico, correct? Is where you got married?
Yeah, we went. Well,
How was that?
it was in Georgia, and then our honeymoon was in Mexico.
Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
How
Um,
was the wedding, man? How's that life? How's that been treating? I got married last year, so
It was great, man. It was great. We got married just north of Sea Island in Jekyll Island. So it was a beautiful wedding, and man, it was incredible. So I'm really excited to see where life takes us the next couple years. So really blessed.
I think you did the bachelor party in Scottsdale, right?
Yes, I did.
Yes, I'm going. I didn't. I went to the waste management in February, but I'm doing my best man. So I got married last May. My best man is getting married in October. So we're doing his in September. We're going to be in Scottsdale. So
Oh
excited to do it there, man.
well,
I was supposed to do mine there. I did Nashville, but I'm excited.
I
Yours
got
looked like a
some
blast.
good recommendations if you
Heck
need
yeah.
some Scottsdale.
Yeah, well, let's talk offline. I appreciate that, man. One question I had is, you are pretty upfront about your faith, right? Which I think is super cool. I think in today's day and age, given where society is, I feel like sometimes that's a little bit of a double-edged sword. But
Mm,
how cool is it seeing, like, you just saw Scotty and Grant kind of
yeah.
talk about, I don't know if you watched that video
Yep.
the other day, but like how cool is it seeing like Grant, Scotty, Wes. I know Wesley and George and Sean, like Brad. A lot of these guys, like how cool is it seeing these other guys kind of embrace that same role? And do you get nervous kind of doing that type of stuff on content? Like just talking about that?
I would say that's the whole reason why I chose to do this is to, make an impact and spread the gospel.
Yeah,
There's not many people that really know, who Jesus is. So if I can at least spread a little seed every video, that's I'm doing the Lord's work. So
yeah,
it's super cool. Like when I play with Grant, it was super cool to hear how each of us, you know, relies on our faith to
yeah,
keep on going and to make an impact. So there's so many guys out there that literally just go by the wayside and don't let things, I guess, don't let some of those conversations come up. But for me, I want people, those that come on my channel to feel
yeah,
comfortable speaking about that and just allowing, the audience to hear how important having a relationship with our Lord is. So,
yeah.
but yeah, it's amazing to see, Grant and George and all the biggest people in the space talking about it.
For sure, dude. It's very cool. I grew up, I went to Catholic school as a kid. I just kind of fallen out of my way. But no, I think it's very cool. And I think, everyone should have their own opinion. And,
Mhm.
who gives a crap what people think?
Yeah.
People want to trash you, is what it is. I know you don't really care about that. Let's talk a little bit about the business side.
Mhm.
Speaking of dual sport, you're repping the hat, which I love to see. Is it's dual? Is a clothing brand just called Dual? I know you guys have a drop coming out, but I guess talk about that. Talk about how cool it is starting your own clothing line
Mhm.
and what that's been like over the past few months.
Yeah, man. One, it's been absolute blessing. And man, this the brand has grown so much in the past. Like, I started it May of last year, so we're literally just coming up on a year of being established. And I I don't know. It kind of just I was walking my dog one day, and I was like, why is there not a brand that represents athletes that do more than one, or that athletes that want more in their life outside of their sport? Uh, so basically, what I wanted to do is create a brand that has lifestyle golf and performance wear and capture it into one, and just basically resemble the brand around a community, like a community where, like, if athletes here, we're all pushing each other to get better, and that's kind of like what Dual stands for. And we just had our previous pop up in Orlando, in my hometown, and now
Nice.
literally today in a couple hours we have our spring collection drop at dualsportbrand.com. And it's been a dream come true, man, to see like-minded athletes come together, and just really push each other to be their best. So that was my goal, and man, it's a dream come true.
For sure, man. We'll link is dual you said
Yes, sir.
dualsportbrand.com. We'll link
Yeah.
that in the description if you guys like Evan stuff. Make sure you check it out. Their spring collection is very cool. I saol it on Instagram.
Thank
I
you.
think Dalton Joyce. I
Yep.
follow obviously I follow him, but I follow you, but I follow him. I think I saw it on one of your stories. So cool, man. That's awesome. Do you think the business side is more of a grind than this like social like building a bit like an apparel business is more of a grind than building like a social media following on for you? What's been harder?
Yeah, Marco, it's been really tough, especially because I'm more on the creative side, so like the business side doesn't really come as easily. So with Dual, my brother owns a apparel fulfillment logistical company, so like we go hand in hand and work together on it. But I think a lot of people do not understand what it takes to run and fulfill all the needs of a apparel company. Like, it is just, man, there's a lot to goes into it. And I wish I could do content on it. I kind of want to transition my content one day to more like what I do on a day-to-day basis rather than just golf, because I feel like a lot of people just don't understand who I am and like what I do. So but yeah, there's so much that goes into it, and it's just been really cool to see it grow.
Heck yeah, dude! Congratulations. I can attest to that. I live, as you know, like doing like thought about doing my own merch at some point, just as like getting my own clothing, and I don't want to deal with all the manufacturing stuff. Like I'd rather just have someone pay me to wear their clothes. Like
Yeah,
it's just, but good for you, man. Like you said, you're very competitive, and best of luck. I know it. I like I said, I love the stuff, guys. Like I said, we'll link it in the description. Check it out. But you're crushing it, man. So
thank you.
keep it up.
Thank you.
Um, Let's talk a little bit about your series that you have called Record Breakers. So you just dropped a video with Cooper DeJean, Super Bowl champ. Shameless,
Yep.
like very, very cool. Talk to me about that and how cool it's been getting other athletes on your channel,
Mm.
and maybe some. If you feel like teasing some athletes you've got coming on for Record Breakers, you can do
Yeah.
that as well.
Man, it's been really cool. So like essentially I want to stay in the athlete side of golf, just because like I feel like I can communicate with athletes pretty well. Just coming from football, like I don't really know any different. So for me, I wanted to come up with a series that really insinuates my game as a player, but also allows people to see how good or how bad or how interesting or entertaining it would be to have another professional athlete from the tips try to break the course record. So think about Bryson's break 50, but from the tips,
Yeah.
essentially what we're doing. And so I kind of wanted to create, kind of my own series. And Cooper, is a huge golfer, and obviously he made that crazy play in the Super Bowl, and I've been following him since he just got to Iowa. So he was our first guest and crushed it. And we played a really tough golf course with really firm greens, so it's really hard. But we have some really really exciting guests coming on the channel here in the next couple months for record breakers, and I feel like record breakers can be, a really really sought after series in the YouTube space with all the guests that we have coming on. So I'm excited.
Heck yeah, dude. Really, really cool series. Cooper, like, dude, Cooper's like that pick six he played in the Super Bowl. That's got to be the coolest feeling in the world. Like, as a rookie, I mean, picking off Pat Mahomes, pick
Mhm.
six, Super Bowl, kind of a
Like
big deal.
on your birthday too.
Yeah,
Honestly,
right.
yeah.
No, dude, it's so funny. So my birthday, dude, I'm so you'll find this funny. I just thought of that. So I was like I said, I was in waste management, which is, as you know, the weekend of the Super Bowl. My birthday was the day after the Super Bowl. So I had a Lions ticket Super Bowl. My whole plan was I'm supposed to celebrate the Lions Super Bowl after my birthday, go to the parade, and then they got smoked by a rookie QB. So
Mm,
you no
that's
one really. Dude, it is what it is, man. I've been a Lions fan for a long time. We've dealt with a lot of crap. That this year was rough as the
Yeah,
one
Jaden
seed.
Jaden Daniels is that guy. He is that
Yeah. He was my fantasy quarterback, which,
guy.
it's like a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
But no, man. No, that's really cool. Like I said, guys, Record Breakers, it's a very cool series. Check it out on Evan's solo channel. Let's talk a little bit about negativity, man. I know we talked about this a bit offline, but this is a question that I have. I feel like you get a decent amount of negativity, maybe more than most in the space. I don't get it. I don't see why people want to hate, whether it's they're jealous of your success. People just like to hate. That's the day we're in. How do you deal with the negativity of whether it's comments or accusations? And like, how do you just deal with the hate that you get? I can't imagine that's easy seeing stuff like that. I don't get a ton of hate comments. I'm not that big yet. But like, how do you deal with that?
Mhm. Yeah, I think it kind of derives back to ever since I was little. I've always received a lot of negative hate, just or negativity, just on kind of trying to do really big things in my life, and whether they work out or whether they not, I just have a really like very intense like personality to try to reach all my goals, and sometimes that comes off as a little intimidating, I guess. I don't know. And I'm pretty just like straightforward. Like I just love to do what I do, and for me, I think everyone has an opinion. That's the thing about social media that I really understood from an early age, is that like everyone has an opinion and nobody has a consequence for what they say online, which is for me I'm just like I kind of let people talk, because if they were to see me in person and like for example like have a conversation like me and you, they would be like, why am I saying this stuff, so what I do is I just try to like let it come to life if like people meet me in person, or if they see like a long form video where they can understand who I am, because at the end of the day I feel like, you know, I want to treat people how, or I want to treat others how I want to be treated. And I just try to brush it off and understand that like at some time they'll understand like who I am, and they'll stop at some point. But it's just crazy. People have no reprimand for negative comments online. And it was funny, someone I met that said a bunch of negative stuff and said like my 59 wasn't real, and said that my tying the course record at Chambers Bay wasn't real. I met him in person, and I went up to him, and like I'm not like the biggest guy. I'm like 6 foot 210. I was just like, hey man, I'm I just went up directly up to him. I was like, were you the guy that said all my stuff wasn't real? And then at that point, he kind of took it all back and was like, no, 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 man. Like, man, I love what you. I was like, oh, okay. So now when I see you in person, you switch up. So like, I just don't understand. I'm really just, who I am is just um, I'm a very selfless person. Like I always want the best for other people, and like it sucks to get that hate, but I just want to like just put out great stuff and have people understand who I am.
Yeah, man, it's today's day and age. Like, people
Yeah.
are gonna hate on you, and it's that experience or interaction you had. I feel like that happens like 99% of the time, where
Yes.
people say something,
Mhm.
they won't say it to your face, but they'll say it behind the screen because, like
Yep.
you said, there's no reprimand. And I like to troll people. I mean, I feel like there's a very fine line between like hey, like you suck, or but like when you level like certain accusations, and I'll ask you about it, like you said, the 59, where I know you got some flack at the same thing. I mean, feel free to talk about that and whatever. I mean, I know there's a legit, and as someone who's very good at golf, like I think you play to a +4, +5, whatever your handicap is. I play to a +1, so I know you're very good. But take the moment if you'd like to, I guess, just like level the floor on any of that stuff, whether it be the 59, 64, because I know there was some people making a big stink about it, but you have no incentive to, in my opinion, you have no incentive to lie because you're putting it on social media. Like, I feel like it's very easy to verify it, but I guess take the floor if you'd like to talk about that stuff. Because I know, like you said, not a lot of people have kind of heard your side of the story or whatever. I know you've made some TikToks about it, but if you'd like, more than welcome to take this moment to just talk about whatever you'd like from those two.
Yeah, I think I think it's still not really understood. Um, the the Chambers Bay was in 2020, so almost 5 years ago, and people are still talking about it. And the 59 was like a year and a half ago, and
Yeah.
people are still talking about it. So, like for me, man, I 20 like 19 was when I really started to see results on the golf course, and I went up to Seattle to play Chambers Bay, and I was playing in a group with a couple caddies, and just played like the round of my life. Like everything was going where I wanted to. The caddy I had the best reads ever, and I just made so many. I made a lot of putts
Yeah.
and was able. I shot 64 from the back
Yep.
tees, and I played all the way back, and that was the course record. On 18, or 17, I made like this really good par putt from like 12 feet, and then the caddy walking up to the tee box was like, "Hey, if you birdie this hole, you break Adam Scott's record of 64." Because let's see. Oh, sorry. If you eagle this hole,
Yeah.
you break his record of a 64. Because I was 7 under at the time,
Right.
and I was like, why would you tell me that? Like, why would I do
Right.
that? Yeah, I remember the moment like super vividly. I hit it. I obviously that was the only video. I wasn't really doing social media
Yeah.
much in 2020, so I just had the caddy like video the holes.
Yeah.
So hit the drive, hit the iron, and then the the putt. I had to redo it because the caddy didn't film it. So I
Yeah.
putted, and then obviously the whole debacle with the flag stick and everything.
Yeah, I saw that.
I had to redo the putt because the caddy forgot to film it. So I ended up tapping it in for a 64, and that was when that was when a lot of people just started really hating. I
Yeah.
out of nowhere. It was mainly because like the video wasn't the best because the caddy wasn't really technological technological savvy. So, and that was my best round to date. So like I knew that if I really had everything firing, I could really like go low, and it was it was one of the best rounds of my life, and I still remember it to today. Just being, just and the group I had too was amazing. I was in a foursome, and they were just letting me have the floor. I was like, they were
Nice.
playing a couple tees up, and it was amazing. It was incredible.
Yeah, dude. I get it. And it's funny because you say 2020, like that was like pre good, like
Yeah.
good start. And like, dude, that was like 20. It's funny because like I got into YouTube. I'm a big YouTube guy. Like I grew up golf in general, but video games, like I grew up like Fortnite, Call of Duty. Like that's where I started on YouTube a long time ago, like way back in the day, and turned me into I've always just a YouTube guy. So YouTube golf, but like good and seeing all that stuff blow up, like no one was really doing outside of maybe Mac, a Mac Power doing stuff in 2020. So let the haters hate, man. I've had nothing but good experiences with you. I have no incentive to lie to people. You're a very nice guy. We've only been talking for 40-ish minutes, few offline. I got nothing but good things to say about you, man. Let the haters hate. Keep doing what you're doing. Outside of golf course, when you're not making content, what does your life like look like? What do you like to do? And just some hobbies you have outside the golf course.
Mm. Yeah, man. I feel like my life outside of golf is kind of why I've had success on the course and success in the role of creating content. I really just like to kick back. I love sports, so going to football, like watching football, is like literally my favorite thing to do. Going to games, watching it on TV, hanging out with friends. I have a 3-year-old golden retriever that I love to hang out with,
Nice.
so I'm a big dog person. For me, I just love hanging out with my friends, watching sports, and hanging out with my dog. And I think if you really have a outlet outside of your work, that's when work really becomes like successful. So that's what I love to do.
Big golden retriever guy. I've got a 4-year-old golden. I grew up with a golden. My current golden is my first like my dog. I had a childhood golden, but I have a 4-year-old golden named Bogey. So I really am a golf sicko. But I'm big on dogs here too, man. I'm a big dog guy. Before we get any further, I do this with everyone. If you ever link up, if we ever link up in person, I would love to challenge you to a match. You don't have to do it on camera if you don't want. I never ask people to like put me on their channel, but I'm a competitor, man. Would love to challenge you. I've challenged everyone else. If ever link up in person, whether it be here in Michigan or wherever else this summer, wherever, would love to challenge you to a match and get out and play 18 holes, and hopefully beat you. You know, like I said, I'm not afraid to chirp, and I'm pretty competitive. So,
Hey, I'm all in. I'm one that wants to walk to the first tee and not lose. So I would love to do that.
heck yeah. Who's your favorite NFL team? Are you a Bucks guy? Being from Florida, what does your NFL look like?
Man, I don't really have like a favorite team that I watch. I'm good friends with Evan Ingram, so like, you know, I followed the Jags for a while. Now that he got traded to the Broncos, I'll just probably watch him at the Broncos. But um, man, if I was to choose a team, I mean, I love Coach Dan at the Lions, but like
Yeah.
I I don't know, man. I don't really have a favorite team. I just love following players. Like I love Patrick Mahomes, Saquon. Like I just love following players.
Heck yeah, dude. Cool, man. Well, no worries. Go Lions. You know, it is what it is. But, dude, I just want to touch on before we'll do some rap. I got one more question. Then get into some rapid fires, and then we'll get you out of here. But how was Oakmont, dude? I know you were just there, and we're coming up here probably 5 weeks from the U.S. Open. How cool was that the other day? It looked like a fun day with all those creators there, man.
Yeah.
How was Oakmont? How's the course playing?
Oh man, Oakmont was unreal. It's going to be a test of golf. It's going to be. I mean, we were there like what 6 weeks before the event with all the create the biggest creators in the space, and the rough was already like 5 to 6 inches, and the greens were already like 11s, 12. So like I I can't see it getting much harder. I can see them firming up the course quite a bit because it did rain like the night before. I can see the greens getting firm and a little faster, but I tell you what, from the backs, like I was like I think par 70, 71. It was like 7,400, and I mean, I don't know if the score is going to be under par. I don't. So like my YouTube video drops in a few days there, and you can just see how like I mean I hit 10 of 14 fairways, and I felt like I was striping it, and I still wasn't like even though you hit the fairway, that's just the step one. You gotta put
Yeah.
yourself. The greens are so undulated and so like curvy that you have to put it on the right spot of the green, or else you're three putting. So it's going to be a really really good test of golf.
Heck yeah, dude. I'm looking forward to it. I love the US. I always, it's funny because, like, I know we're in major season. I don't know how much pro golf you watch, but like, Masters is always my favorite week. Then the PGA is, then, dude, US Open for me, like,
Yeah,
watching those guys struggle, like, I don't want to say it brings me joy, but it's like those, like, Wolf of Wall Street, like, one of us, you know? It's like watching those guys struggle. Anyway, man, you just talked about it, but do you want to tease any future content you got coming over? Probably, like I said, I'll post this. Next Tuesday or Wednesday, maybe. So about a week ish, 5 days. You can tease whatever you want. If not, no big deal. You've already
yeah,
given us enough. But I always like to ask that just for content purposes.
yeah. Yeah. I feel like May and June will be a really, really big month or a couple months for us. We have U.S. Open local qualifying. Last couple years, I missed it by like really close numbers. So, um, got that. We got Saquon Barkley coming on in June. Let's see what else we got. And then we're playing against Blades Brown, which is pretty cool. He's a freaking stud. And then one of your favorite good members, Malosi. We're gonna do a little together.
Nice.
We're gonna bring
Yeah.
you vibes. It's gonna be a really good video to like if you want some positivity in your life, just watch the video with me and Malosi.
Yeah. Nice, dude. Do you have an editor? Like, how does are you doing everything yourself? Like collabs? Do you have an agent? What does your like team or process look like setting up content?
Yeah, so I have a team of like 8 people right now. I have management, marketing, production, all that stuff. I did everything myself for 2 years and like marketing, production, management, all that stuff, operations. And like I saw my game kind of go downhill, my golf game, and I was like, I need to focus on what I do best, and that's on the golf course and create content. So I just try to keep the main thing, and really just know that like I can teach other people how to do it for me, especially with the sponsors that I've received, and truly blessed to do this for a living. So yeah, I do have work with Vayner Sports for marketing. I hired 2 full-time guys for production, and yeah, so it's been really really cool.
Nice, man. Mizuno guy. You like? I'm
Mizuno,
assuming. I know. Yeah, these clubs are sweet, man. I love Mizuno irons.
yeah,
Good for you, dude.
the irons are world class, that's for
Are you
sure.
gonna do any? Have you done anything with Carter? Are you gonna do anything with
Yeah,
Carter?
I filmed with him. What was that? A couple months ago. Yeah,
Okay.
February,
Okay.
March. I filmed with
Okay.
him.
Cool, man. Well, anyway, Evan, let's do some rap fires and I'll get you out of here, dude. I
Okay.
appreciate the time so much. Favorite golf, and these can be one word answers, whatever. These are just fun topics. That's throwing
Okay.
out. But a favorite golfer, professional golfer.
Brooks Koepka.
Okay. Favorite golf course you've ever played.
Sage Valley.
Most prestigious golf course you've ever played.
Oakmont.
Okay. How many hole in ones do you have?
4.
Favorite? Do you have any on par fours or all par threes?
All par threes.
Okay. Do hole in ones on par three courses count?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Favorite creator or creator role model? You can do either or. It doesn't have to be golf related. Depending on your answer.
Uh, Probably Bryson.
Okay. I always ask lowest round, but I'm pretty sure yours is 59. If you got something lower than that, congrats. But is your lowest round the 59?
Yeah, 59.
Okay. You get one mulligan on camera. You can use any video, and I guess for you it could be like even a tournament. Where would you use it and why?
I would say wedge shot on hole 13 of the USAM last year. I was 3 under going into 13, and I striped my tee shot down the middle, and I had 85. I remember this like it was yesterday. I had 85 yards. You might have seen it. I was literally top 5 at the US Amateur at this time. I had 85 yards to a back right pin, and I just came up and out of the shot, and I thinned it over the green, hits the cart path, goes out of bounds. So like if I could do redo one shot, I felt like that was the shot that kind of like I had so much momentum, and then it just kind of just like dropped all of it. So if I could redo a shot, I would just choke down a little bit more and just try to stay in the shot and put it to 10 feet and walk out of there with a par. But instead, I made a double bogey. And after that, I made another bogey. So it was like that. I feel like that was a shot. Like I could have made the match play at USAM if I would have
Yeah.
did that.
For sure, man. Well, guys, that's Evan Thompson. Evan, thank you so much for coming on today, dude. I really, really do appreciate it. This is a great conversation. Really excited to post this one. Before we sign off, plug anything you want, any sign off messages. Like I said, and then I'll let you go, man. Thank you. Thank you so much for
Yeah.
everything. This has been awesome.
Of course. No, I appreciate you having me. Blessed and honored to share the story a little bit, and love what you're doing for the game of golf,
Thank you.
getting more people in it and understanding that the game of golf is changing, and, people like Grant, Brian Bros, myself are becoming more popular than the guys on tour, which is insane to me.
Crazy. Yeah.
I don't know how it's even possible, but no, I appreciate it. Appreciate you giving me a space to open up a little bit, and looking forward to big couple months coming soon.
Heck yeah, guys. Dualsportbrand.com, all Evan socials. Make sure you check everything out. That's Evan Thompson, guys. Thank you. And subscribe. Subscribe to me too. Appreciate that.